Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Johari and I'm a registered social worker based here in Toronto. It is mid-August 2020. This is the 6th video of my relationship series, and in this video I'm going to talk about boundaries in marriage, especially in relation to in-laws, and also the 9 steps. I'll outline the 9 steps of setting boundaries in marriage. So as a couples counselor specializing in premarital counseling, I love talking about relationship resources and tools. So in previous weeks in this relationship series of videos, I spoke about communication, conflict resolution, keeping the intimacy alive, the 5 love languages, and what boundaries are. So please feel free to check out those videos if you haven't done so already. And in the upcoming weeks, I'll be covering adult attachment, how to manage the inevitable struggles in your relationship, and personality differences. So keep an eye open for those upcoming videos. So let's dive into boundaries in marriage. So this was such a big topic that I covered boundaries over 2 videos. So check out the one that I did last week on what boundaries actually are. For today, I'll talk about boundaries in marriage. So a common issue that I see is lack of boundaries with in-laws. Henry Cloud and John Townsend literally wrote the book on boundaries. It's called Boundaries: When to Say Yes, How to Say No to Take Control of Your Life. So this vlog draws on 2 chapters, one on family and one on couples. So I picked a piece about in-laws from the family chapter, and then I'm talking about the rest of my vlog is mainly based on the the chapter on couples. So when a couple gets married, they leave or loosen their allegiance to their family of origin, and they cleave or forge a new allegiance to their spouse. So if this doesn't happen, that is when conflicts or boundary problems might take place. So it doesn't mean to ignore the extended family at all. It just means a change in the dynamic of the family and where your first allegiance is. So if the couple has a decision to make, for example, they need to discuss it together and then decide for themselves what's the best course of action. So they can certainly seek guidance and advice from any of their parents or extended family, but then the ultimate decision still lies in the couple themselves. So they are the unit and the team facing life together. So that is boundaries in relation to in-laws. So what about when there is a boundary issue between the spouses themselves? So I often talk to my couples about having me time and we time. So sometimes boundaries are blurred within a couple when one person kind of loses sight of who they are as a person within the relationship. It's important as the marriage progresses that each person continues to have their own interests and their own friends. It's helpful to spend some time separately as well so that they can miss each other and long for each other. So that maintains a sense of balance and harmony in the relationship. You have to know where one person ends and the other person begins. So what if one partner is doing something that violates your values and your boundaries? It could be an affair, a gambling addiction, spending issues, a drinking problem, or abuse. You don't have control over what someone else does, but you do have control over your feelings and your actions. So in order to exercise boundaries in these kinds of examples, it's important to respond with clear consequences of that person's behavior. So on page 164, Cloud and Townsend give the example of a spouse who's yelling. So if the partner is not exercising boundaries in that example, they could simply say, "Stop yelling at me. You have to be nicer to me. You must be nicer." This is an attempt to control or change the other person's behavior. But if you're using appropriate boundaries, the partner would leave the choice of the change to the spouse who's yelling. So if the person is exercising boundaries, they could say something like, "You can continue to yell if you choose to, but I will choose not to be in your presence when you act that way." So, and if it's really bad, so you're leaving, in that example, then you're leaving the choice to that person, and you're being clear about what the consequences are if they choose to continue in that way. And you are exercising your own choice of what you want to do if the other person chooses to continue to yell. So, but if it's really bad, it might mean even giving more time and space by going to a friend's house or a family's house for a period of time. And then that time and space gives the other person some opportunity to be able to reflect on their behavior and what has gone on for them, and how to potentially choose alternate behavior if they don't want you leaving like that. So Cloud and Townsend outline 9 steps towards personal change in a marriage. So number 1 is inventory the symptom. So own and recognize the problem, what's really going on, and then take action to solve it. Number 2 is identify the specific boundary problem. Identify what that boundary is, what the issue is. Are you comfortable saying no to your partner, and kind of figuring out what you're comfortable saying no to, so what the specific boundary issue is for you. And number 3, find the origins of the conflict. So name the original issues. So was there some similar boundary problem between you and one of your parents, for example? So kind of trying to figure out the origin of what that boundary issue might be. Number 4 is taking in the good. So utilize a strong support system to encourage healthy boundaries in your marriage. So this could be really solid couple friends that you go to for some advice, or talking to a pastor or a support group, or talking to a couples therapist or your own individual therapist. So really taking in the good. And number 5 is practice. So practice setting boundaries with close friends or family members so you can build up your ability to say no in your marriage. Number 6 is say no to the bad. So put limits in your marriage. You never, ever, ever have to put up with any form of abuse, whether it's financial, emotional, spiritual, verbal, sexual, or physical abuse. And number 7, forgive. So it's important to forgive to demonstrate healthy boundaries. So Cloud and Townsend wrote on page 172, unforgiving people allow other people to control them. So setting people who have hurt you free from that old debt is to stop wanting something from them. So it sets you free as well. Forgive each other's mistakes in order to free yourself and be able to let go. Number 8 is become proactive. So figure out what your limits are and what your bottom lines are, and then communicate those clearly. And then the last one, number 9, is learn to love in freedom and responsibility. Love comes out of the freedom of choice and taking responsibility for your own self. So having these healthy boundaries with your partner makes it clear where your fence is and what you're willing to put up with or not put up with, and can ultimately lead to a deeper intimacy with each other and deeper connection with each other, which that's the bottom line and the ultimate goal in the partnership. So in summary, know where you draw the line and make that clear to your partner, including what the consequences would be if that spouse's negative behavior continues. And with in-laws, make it clear that your allegiance is with your partner, and be sure to stay on that same team. So I hope this was helpful. In the next video, I'll be covering adult attachment, building that sense of security with your partner. So let me know if there's any other relationship videos or any questions about boundaries in your marriage that might be helpful, if you need any clarification. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any requests for other kinds of videos on relationships or on personal wellness at all, then please email me directly. My email can be found on my website. And please feel free to like or follow or subscribe or retweet or share, whatever it is, depending on which platform you're seeing this on. And just be aware of confidentiality risks, given that this is a public platform. So God bless and be well. Thank you. Hi everyone, so this is an addendum to the video that I just did on boundaries in marriage. So I recorded that video yesterday, and then as I was just doing a bit of research on boundaries in marriage and just kind of reading more about it, I had come across the book the book Boundaries in Marriage by Cloud and Townsend. So I ordered it yesterday because I thought it looked interesting. And the video that I just did is on the original book, the Boundaries book. Where is it? This one. So the video that I did yesterday was based on a couple of chapters in this book on boundaries, the original Boundaries book by Cloud and Townsend. So anyway, so as I was just reading more about it, I realized that they actually have an entire book on boundaries in marriage. So I ordered it yesterday, and wouldn't you know, it arrived today. So I was really excited to get that so quickly. So I think what I'll actually do is I'll do another video on boundaries in marriage, and I'll read through these chapters this coming week, and I'll do my next video on based on this book that I just got. So there are values here, building boundaries in marriage. There are 6 values here that look pretty interesting on building those boundaries in marriage. So I think what I'll do is I'll kind of review those and summarize those for the video for next week. So stay tuned for that next video on boundaries in marriage, and that one will be based on this book. All right, thank you so much for watching again, and stay tuned for the next video. Take care.